All right, welcome back to week 3. So to review week 1, we got that body back in shape and helped with that alignment work, and hopefully you've been able to do those exercises consistently. Week 2, we started on a walking program. I hope you're really enjoying that. Most patients find that a really fun part of their day and really start to realize how much they've missed walking. So I hope that's the case for you as well. Now here we are at week 3. Now we do these in this order on purpose because we've got to get your body in proper alignment so that you can walk, so that you can sleep. Okay, so here we are, week 3, sleep. And I'm very grateful that sleep is having a comeback. A lot more talk about we need 8 hours of rest and prioritizing that 8 hours of sleep each night. And so you probably already know a lot about sleep hygiene, so we'll just do a quick review of that. And then what we'll really get into is the two most common problems we see that disrupt sleep for most people, okay? So step 1, sleep hygiene. And what we mean by that is we need to set the stage for sleep, all right? So you need to try to go to bed and get up at the same time every day. That sets your circadian rhythms, your biochemical rhythms, and it makes your body much more efficient. We are really efficient in when do we release the dopamine, when do we release the cortisol, when do we release the insulin, if we sleep and eat on a consistent schedule. So if you haven't done so, just set that schedule and try to be very consistent about it, and try to carve off about 8 hours each night for that. And then also during the day, just eating at a consistent time is also going to be very helpful, okay? And then set the environment for sleep. Don't be on your phone, turn off the TV, dim the lights, make the environment cool if you're able to, and start to darken the environment. Bring the lights down, and just let your body know, here we go, we're getting ready for sleep. This is bringing it down time. We're getting ready for bed, okay? So get that all in place. And then we find in the clinic, even if you've set up all of those things, you still might not be able to sleep. And there's 2 reasons for that. The first is some sort of apnea. So apnea is I can't breathe for some reason. And in the PRI world, what we're often seeing is a very tight neck, forward head, restricting that airway. If you have any sort of jaw problems, okay, clenching, grinding, snoring, headaches, tight neck and shoulders, you are not breathing well. And thus, you might also be having some apnea, meaning it is difficult for you to breathe at night. So again, you might be noticing the clenching, the grinding, the snoring. Now, how we release that is through that beginning PRI stuff, but then with the addition of the sternal positional stretch. Please go look that video up. I will put a link to it in this note. But that sternal positional stretch is the opening of that airway. There's 2 ways to do it. We can do it laying down, or we can do it on a ball. Both feel amazing, and I'll put those links in the notes. So first we have to open this up. We didn't do that first because if we don't have a core, the opening doesn't matter as much. So now if you're noticing, if I clench, grind, snore, headaches, open up the neck and do the sternal release, either on a ball or laying down. Okay, so that's your apnea issue. The second part of that is your diaphragm might not be strong enough. Okay, that's why you're overusing your accessory breathing muscles. You will see me blowing up a balloon in 50 videos, okay? Because balloon blowing is how we strengthen up that diaphragm. If we talked about in that first week, 90-90 with balloon, that's probably my favorite one, okay? So 90-90 with balloon. Double Stuff has decided to join us for sleep as usual, right? Yeah, hi. So blowing up a balloon is going to give you that diaphragm. Okay, so I got lots of links to those. Okay, so we can release the neck and hello, and engage the diaphragm. Okay, Double Stuff's going to sleep here. Oh, very good. Okay, the next piece The other reason people are having a hard time sleeping at night is insomnia. Okay, insomnia is an issue regarding the patterning of the nervous system in the brain. And if you have insomnia, you know that because you tell me every time I ask you, well, why aren't you sleeping? You will say, I can't turn off my brain. Okay. So the gold standard for treating insomnia is cognitive behavioral therapy, not medication. Medicated sleep is not restorative sleep. Talk to the sleep experts about it. They will be happy to explain all that to you, but medicated sleep is not the same. Okay, so our goal would be for you to wean away from your sleep medications and move towards cognitive behavioral therapy for sleep. Hello. Don't scratch the pad. Okay, so you do that with a cognitive behavioral therapist who specializes in insomnia. And just like other forms of cognitive behavioral therapy, they will help you retrain your brain for sleep. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's a 6-week training program. So it doesn't take forever, but you've got to put in the work of retraining that brain and with the know-how. How do I do this? There's online programs. You can go see a cognitive behavioral therapist. I would say based on the shortage of therapists these days, an online program might be better right now, but you got to find what works for you. But retrain your brain for sleep because you can and you need to. Okay, sleep, just to sort of set the stage of the understanding here. Why do we need to sleep? Sleep is magical and really a little mysterious, but we know when we sleep, that is when we heal our mind and our body. All of the healing within ourselves, right? You get a cut, right? Our skin heals. We do that internally as well. All of that work really happens at nighttime, okay? We set down memories, we clean out debris out of our brains, right? If you don't want dementia, sleep, okay? It's that easy. So sleep is super important. So do the work of finding the right sleep pattern, the right sleep hygiene, solve the apnea with some exercises, or this could be both, solve the insomnia with some cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay, so again, I'll put those links into the sternal release, and I'll show you the ball one here in a second, okay? Now, one other little tip on sleep, if you position you sleep in also helps turn off your neck and turn on your abs and your diaphragm. The proper pillow can be helpful for that. So I have here, I am both a side and a back sleeper myself. And this is the pillow that I use. This is the Therapeutica pillow, okay? And it is designed for people who sleep on their side and on their back, okay? You'll see this here where if I'm on my back, I've got this fabulous ramp and support for my neck with this nice little opening here for my bowling ball head to be in, okay? And then if I roll onto my side, I've got this great support here so it can support my whole head and neck so I'm not ending up too cranked in either direction, okay? So the Therapeutica pillow, very helpful, okay? Again, if I start out on my side, okay, here I am, fully supported, my nose in line with my sternum, okay? And then often I do, like lots of people do, I end up rolling onto my back during the night. And when I do that, I can be in a place where my neck is in its proper position and my jaw is open and relaxed so I can actually breathe through my nose with my diaphragm without turning my neck on, okay? Obviously double stuff lows to sleep. So I would suggest if you are a side and back sleeper and you're struggling with the pillow, get the Therapeutica pillow. It is very helpful, okay? Now I've got the ball here and we're just gonna review the sternal release. Okay, so let's do a sternal positional stretch on the Swiss ball. I'll say one thing about this exercise. I love this exercise. It feels fantastic. But if you have a tight neck or a tight back, generally I don't start with the ball. We'll start with the sternal positional stretch laying down. Again, I put a link to that in the notes. You can find that on my blog and on the YouTube channel. The ball is a more advanced version. Okay, so if you're ready for it, let's give it a whirl. So you sit on it, okay, you walk back, right? So then I'm just gonna roll back onto the ball. I put my head on the ball, I lift up my hips, I roll back slightly. My head is still on the ball. That's really important. And then I'm going to let my arms fall out to the side, okay? You got to keep those hips up, okay? And then I'm going to hang out here for about 4 to 5 breaths. Again, I'm keeping my body straight, okay? And I'm doing that with my glutes and my hamstrings. And then I'm doing this breathing work of bringing that rib cage down, okay? In through the nose, out through the mouth. You're going to feel a big stretch through the pecs. This is an excellent pec stretch, which is part of the accessory breathing problem you're having. And also I'm going to release all this tightness here in my neck, okay? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Great. Do that about 4 times. When you're done, cross the arms in, roll the head up, and you just walk yourself back up onto the ball, okay? So do that about 4 times, and that's a pretty aggressive neck stretch. So if you're having neck pain, headaches, jaw pain, any sort of apnea, if you are clenching, grinding, snoring, please do that exercise or the version laying flat on the ground. Enjoy. Okay, it's the end of week 3, and you have learned to get your body in neutral and use your core. You have taken up a walking program, and hopefully you're loving that. And now you're sleeping better because you've set some sleep hygiene, you've prioritized sleep. And again, if you're having insomnia or apnea, we've got a physical plan for apnea. Apnea is a physical problem. The respiratory system isn't efficient for some reason, and generally that's a combination of tightness in the neck and weakness in the core, okay? So that, we just discussed how to change that problem, sternal release, either on the ball or laying flat, okay? And then insomnia, it takes some time, like all brain patterns, okay? Insomnia is best treated with cognitive behavioral therapy. And that's gonna lead us into step 4, week 4, which is the mind. And I don't want to say my favorite, because obviously I love the body, but without bringing the mind on the superpower with us, usually programs get stagnant and stuck, and people are like, oh, I can't progress any further. And that's typically because the brain didn't come along for the ride, okay? And so, again, for me, I want this to be easy, free, and doable today. And the easiest way to do that is meditation. We'll talk about all sorts of other forms because there are many ways to do it. That's my personal favorite, but again, we're going to go over a bunch of those in week 4. So I'll see you next week.